update. Before we get started, I just want to give you a few updates from Alumni Relations. First of all, I want to point out Haji's hat. That's amazing. Thank you for wearing it. That's going to make the night here. We do have some events coming up pretty soon, and I just want to let you know, you will be receiving additional information on all of these events, either by email or some other form. But I just want to let you know that these are coming up, so you can have a look out. On February 15th at noon, we're going to have a virtual panel discussion and networking events with special guests from the Marketing and Fashion Business Institute, hosted by Business and Economics Division and led by Allison Wolf, Dr. Allison Wolf. The session will give you a chance to connect with business professionals and current EC students, and there'll be some special guests. You will be receiving an email probably tomorrow with a link on that, so we hope you can join us. On March 29th, we're pretty excited about this one. There's a young alumni group event. It'll be at 7 p.m., very similar to this format. All alumni will be invited, and it's going to be a virtual tour of the Tommy Hilfiger Gallery, which is actually housed on campus here in Hamilton Hall. So we'll take you on a tour of the gallery. Betsy Hilfiger and Dr. Allison Wolf will be answering any questions and giving information, not only about the gallery, but the new program that is starting. So you will be receiving information on that in early March. On March 30th, there's going to be an all-day event climate teach-in day. Today's events will include presentations on sustainability, and we'll have guest panelists, including community partners. And details will be in the March alumni link. You'll also receive an email with more information on that, but that's an exciting program. They'll be held on campus that will include panelists, but current students also. Mark your calendars for April 27th, which is our Everlasting Day of Giving. You will be receiving more information on that, but looking forward to having you all participate. And last but not least, reunion. We're going to hold reunion this year, June 24th through the 25th. Plans are being taken, underway right now. We're really excited about everybody coming back. We'll keep everybody, safe and healthy on campus and follow any kind of, format that we do need to follow. But we're really excited to invite everybody back to campus this year for a reunion. I just want to give you a few housekeeping updates here. Please just note that you will be muted throughout the call. If you want to make any kind of comments or submit questions, you can do that through the chat. And it is being recorded, so it will be shared later on with those who could not attend. And now it's my pleasure to invite President Lindsay to give you an update on the college. President Lindsay.
Thanks, Ellen, and good evening, everyone. Glad you could join us. First of all, people can hear me, right? Yes, okay, good. I was able to join the call a little bit early, and I was getting some things organized, and I felt like the parent taking the sons and daughters to soccer practice or something, and you know how they're in the back and they usually talk about things that they wouldn't necessarily talk about in front of you. Well, I think I heard about several things like road trips to Cornell and back and Colgate and weekly happy hours. So it was very interesting to hear some of what's going on. You're a lively and fun group. So I wanted to share some of the things going on campus. First, this fall, one of our highlights was the opening of the Tommy Hilfiger Gallery. You may have seen that on the news or read one of the articles that was posted. That was Tommy Hilfiger joined us on campus, and we had a press conference, and it was an exciting time where memorabilia and paraphernalia from his career has been moved up to campus and is now on display in Hamilton Hall, in the Great Hall. And it's staffed by Betsy Hilfiger. She's the curator, and we really think it will become a centerpiece for the fashion business program that Ellen mentioned, but also a destination where people will want to come and see some of the exciting things. There will be a tour actually available of the Tommy Hilfiger Gallery if you so choose to attend during reunion weekend. That took place, the press conference for the gallery, on October 22nd. And the week before that, I don't want to be remiss and not mention, we had a Bet Mamone Memorial Lecture from Dr. Scott Oakes. I believe he's class of 93, if memory serves correctly. And he really highlighted the value of his undergraduate experience, talking about his relationship with individual professors and how the education at Elmira made all the difference in his ability to think clearly and write well. I thought it was a memorable talk, and it was much appreciated. It really highlighted the idea, I think, that Elmira College and the education there is all about relationships. We have a new team, not only overall that I introduced to you last time, of vice presidents, but we basically have an entirely new team in our financial offices, and they've really lent some stability and accurate reporting to our finances. It's an effective team, and what that's done is really give us a much clearer idea for financial planning and projecting into the future. So I think that that's really introduced a level of confidence on campus. And what we now know is that in the short term, we're fine in terms of our finances. We had an independent audit that was done. We received a clean audit, which is an important thing from our auditors. And so we're good. Longer term is a different issue. Longer term, we need to deal with enrollment and giving and increase those numbers. And I'll talk about that for a couple of minutes now. I mentioned last time that we have a new vice president for enrollment management who's in charge of admissions and financial aid. His name is Eric Sykes, and he's really revamped the entire approach to admissions. First of all, he has almost an entirely new staff, and he's very adept at using data analytics to make decisions. So what we've been able to do is maximize the number of applications that we have. We have more applicants running through our admissions funnel this year than we did last year. We have, on average, 15% more applications at this point than we did last year. That's a significant uptick. And we're confident that that's going to influence the yield, the number of freshmen we get, because of a couple of metrics that Eric is tracking. One of them is the number of students who submit financial aid forms. As you know, the financial aid form is a real bear to complete, and it's an indicator that somebody is very serious about your institution if they fill it out and submit it. And the number of FAFSA financial aid forms that we've received is up 40% over last year. And that's at a time when FAFSA submissions are down a little over 5% in the state of New York. So we're bucking the trend there. And I think that says that some of our message is really resonating with potential students. So we're very optimistic about that. Eric also has an emphasis on making the visit experience memorable. It's not just about hearing people talk about Elmira College, it's about having them experience Elmira College. So we've enlisted the faculty to have some hands-on events during visiting days, and that also seems to be making a difference with students. So stay tuned for more updates about that, but I'm very optimistic about how things are going. I mentioned several new career-focused academic programs last fall. There's been several now that have been approved by the faculty, a number of concentrations in the fine arts, communications, IT management, sports management, where they were all approved by the faculty last January, and they've been submitted to the New York State Education Department for their consideration, and we're hoping to hear from them shortly. Again, stay tuned on that one. You may have heard rumors that we played 2 of our hockey games down at First Arena in downtown Elmira. The rumors are true. We had the men's team play against Hobart, and then a week later, this is last month, the women played Johnson and Wales University. I thought they were great social events. They were an opportunity for staff, faculty, and students to go downtown, and the arena is only about 6 blocks away. I was told that at the men's game, the attendance was about 2,500 people. That obviously included the community as well. So it was a great mixing of folks from town and from the college, which is one of the things we're trying to foster. But I was told that 2,500 is more than has been at First Arena in about a decade. So there was really a lot of buzz around the event, and I thought it was just great. We did it as 2 exhibition games, and naturally rumors started flying around that Elmira College is going to be moving its hockey programs down to the First Arena. And while I'll just set the record straight right now, while we're open to that possibility, there's a number of questions that have to be answered before that decision can be made. The first one is financial. How much would we be charged to use First Arena? And related to that, what would we be doing with the domes? Would we be renting out the ice at the domes? Or would we look to other rental opportunities at the domes? So that's one area. A second thing is Title IX and making sure that the locker rooms for men and women are equitable and meet Title IX requirements. The last is maybe the most challenging, and that's scheduling. Our hockey games are scheduled 2 years in advance. So we already know the schedule for the 23-24 academic year. And the First Arena management is interested in bringing a professional team down as well. So the question is, would Elmira College really have sufficient practice time and access to the ice or not? So as I say, we remain open. We probably will be doing future exhibition games at the First Arena next year, but the question as to whether we're moving downtown to First Arena is still open. So let people know what the real situation is. I didn't mention that both the men's and women's hockey teams are doing very well. The record for the men right now overall is 16 wins, 5 losses, and 1 tie. I believe they're ranked 4th in Division III. And the women are overall 19 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie. And they are ranked 1st in Division III. So that means that we're probably going to be hosting the playoff games, and we'll find out about that in a few days over this weekend. So teams are doing very well. I should mention in fundraising and advancement in giving, we are at a point right now where we're 80% towards our goal of raising $1.15 million in restricted and unrestricted giving. That's giving that helps us with our operating budget. So 80% means we're doing quite well. We're about $300,000 ahead of where we were last year. But we need to push it across the finish line. So I will first want to express appreciation to everyone, but let you know we're not done yet, and we're still hoping that you can make a contribution this year. So turning to events on campus and a new appointment, we have a gentleman named Larry Parker who will be coming on campus next Monday, the 14th, to take a job as our new Director of DEI and Title IX. DEI is Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, And I think this is an area where Elmira College can really make a difference. We need some support there. Larry is coming to us from Keuka College and has been responsible for addressing the needs of diverse student populations at Keuka. So we're delighted to have him join the team. And this is one of the areas where we really need to do better. If you look at retention rates, it's diverse populations that we lose the most students from. And so that's something that we want to be able to address so that they can have the full benefit of a complete Elmira College experience. One of the projects going on campus is to revamp the website. We hired an outside vendor to come in and look at the content and navigation of the website. We're holding several discovery sessions with different groups on campus. There's also an alumni group who's going to be participating in providing us with feedback. So that's great. Thanks to the alum who are participating. And while it's student focused, there's also going to be attention put on the alumni relations and advancement pages to make them more user friendly, to make them you better able to navigate and get to where you want to. The advancement team is also starting to talk about planning a capital campaign. There hasn't been a capital campaign at Elmira College in over 10 years. And first step is to do a feasibility study. And we've developed 6 general themes for campaign priorities, general descriptions, not fleshed out yet. And what we want to do is share those with alum in the coming weeks and months and potential donors to get your feedback about which of these things really resonate with you, which of them do you think will make a real difference to the future of Elmira College. So I hope that as many of you as possible can participate in that. I believe that we're going to have a survey that goes out. So please watch for that. Ellen did mention a couple of events. I want to mention a couple of others. First, we're planning an in-person graduating class reception, the 100 days celebration. That's on March 18th. It's going to be in Meyer Hall. We haven't been able to do it in a couple of years. And I think it's really important for the alum at that event to connect with the graduating seniors, to welcome them as alum. And this is where they get their pins. And it's a great opportunity for connecting. So I'm excited that as the Omicron variant seems to be subsiding, knock on wood, let's hope it really is, that we're going to have that event. We're also planning an in-person commencement graduation exercises on June 5th. We did do an in-person commencement last year for the classes of 20 and 21 because we didn't have one for 2020. That was really appreciated by the students. We were able to accomplish social distancing and do it in a safe way. And I think it was great. And it was about 90 degrees outside. So, but I like to think about 90-degree days now. So Ellen mentioned the online day of giving, Elmira Everlasting, April 27th, just to make sure you have that on your calendar, and that we're prepping, and Ellen is doing a lot of the prepping for Reunion 2022. I mentioned that you'll have the opportunity to tour the Tommy Hilfiger Gallery. And also, Ellen, I'll mention that we've made arrangements for, I think folks are aware that we have a relationship with Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine, LECOM, and anyone who's interested can tour their facility, which is just 2 blocks from our campus. So, and you know, we're excited about that partnership, but you'll have a chance to check out exactly what the LECOM facility looks like. So I understand there's a number of questions and I'll do my best to answer them. And, but thanks for listening, and we'll kind of open things up now. So Ellen?
Yes, thank you, President Lindsay. You did cover quite a bit. We do have just a few additional questions or comments that you might be able to address. One of them being, what has been the biggest changes to the culture of Elmira College these past 5 years, excluding COVID? We all know what effect that's had, but the last 5 years, what changes in the culture have you seen?
Wow. Well, you know, it's hard right now to separate it from COVID, but I'll try, because it's just been such a significant variable on campus for the last 2 years, as it's been in everyone's life. I'd say that students in Generation Z, which are the folks who are on campus now, are very self-contained, and they tend to be a little bit maybe even apathetic. I've noticed this trend over the last few years. They're not joiners. They're not necessarily interested in going to big events. You may remember when you were on campus that we would have a big event. We'd have a rock concert that everyone would go to. You'd have a comedian, and almost the entire student body will attend. That's not the kind of event that students are interested in at all now. Instead, what they look for is smaller, more intimate events in the residence halls, in the dormitories. And so we've catered and pushed the student life in that direction. Now it's worked to some extent, and we need to do it because of COVID right now. You can't have large events indoors. But I'd say that's a major shift in what I've noticed. And that's something that I'd actually look for if there's any alum who would be interested in mentoring our student leadership in SA, the Student Association, about what things used to be like. I think that would be a great opportunity for some dialogue. So I just put that out there. If there's any alum, I know the students would welcome the opportunity, and Dr. Liz Lambert, who's in charge of student life, could put something together. I promise I won't try to be quite as long on every question.
That's okay. Another alum has asked, could you talk a little bit about the Tommy Hilfiger Fashion Business School academic program and the courses?
Sure. It's important to distinguish that it's not a fashion design program. I think when people hear the word fashion, that's what they think. This is a business marketing program that focuses on how that applies in the fashion industry. It's a concentration. It's not a major, so it exists within the business program. It's an accelerated program. It takes 3 years to complete, so a student can get out early, if you want to think about it that way, if they can complete the coursework. And so it does share a lot of the coursework with the standard introductory economics, introductory business management, and marketing, but then has some specialty courses, and in particular, a capstone internship experience where Tommy has pledged that he's going to provide internships for students in the program in New York City and possibly in Amsterdam. Not Amsterdam, New York, the other Amsterdam. So that's just a general description of the curriculum and what's involved with it.
Okay. The question we get a lot, and this is a great question to have from our alums. Are there ways or things that alumni can do to help? Pretty much in any area. What way do you see the alumni can get involved and assist?
Well, I know one of the areas that most people ask about helping is with career services. And, we might mention Alumni Fire again, but the primary one I always hear about is with recruiting, because recruiting for Elmira and all small private colleges now is absolutely critical. And COVID has changed the game. We can't visit high schools. That's something that high schools restrict now. So it's not the old-fashioned way of doing it. It's much more online, and it's much more about digital advertising. I think there's several ways that I'll mention right now that you can help to promote Elmira College. Number one, this generation of students is all about social media. And so if there's a particular article or a post from campus that you're excited about, such as about the Tommy Hilfiger program or one of the others that we're introducing, or anything on campus, and you know someone that might be interested in it, forward it. Forward that kind of post. That's the way that people really communicate now about college education and university education. So that's a relatively easy one. We'd also love it if you referred a student. If you know of someone in your family or in your circle of acquaintances, and you think they'd benefit from an Elmira College education, get their permission first. But I believe there is an opportunity on the alumni webpage to offer a name and basic contact information to us, and then the admissions team can follow up on that and also contact you for additional information. There might be two more ways. One, when COVID is abated, when we're through this, we'll go back to a little more of traditional ways that we try to yield students. And one of those is having gatherings at alum homes. And we can't do that right now. People are a little timid about doing that. We want to be healthy. We want to be safe. So it's not the approach we're going to take right now. But probably in the next admissions cycle, we're going to be looking for volunteers from the Rochester area, from the New York City area, from Philadelphia, from Boston, who are willing to open up their home and have people who've been accepted come and get to know each other and hear a little bit about the college. We'd send representatives. We probably would send a faculty member and a student, and who knows, maybe the president would even show up. You know, it could happen. And then the last thing I'll say is we want to promote enrollment in speech and hearing, in communication sciences and disorders. And what we've recognized is that the traditional ways to enroll students or to attract students don't really work with that population. 16-year-olds usually aren't saying, I want to go into communication sciences and disorders. They haven't committed enough to that track yet. But what does happen is someone has a member of their family who has an auditory issue, or they have a connection with someone in the profession. And that's how they connect and start to think about going into the field. And so what we want to do is connect with alum who are in speech and hearing, get that list, and send you some material that can be put in your office that you can connect with young people who might be interested in the field. We think that's going to be a more effective way of recruiting. So that was 4 things, and I think all of them would sincerely help us with recruiting.
Great, thank you. I just want to remind the alums on the call right now that you can submit your questions through the chat, and we'll get to as many of those as we can. I just want to give you a reminder that we're going to give a couple more minutes on that. But in the meantime, I want to let you know that when we're done with the call, we're going to turn off the recording, and feel free to stay on the call and visit with each other. I know this is an opportunity for you to see alums and friends that you haven't seen in a while. So we won't record it, I promise. And, feel free to stay on and visit a bit. President Lindsay, I have another question here. Could you talk a little bit about the demand for nursing and how that might affect the nursing enrollments?
Sure. Well, yeah, across the country, there's an acute shortage of nurses. And so the hospitals are just desperate to hire nurses. They're giving them signing bonuses. And I understand that in some regions, the salary for nurses has doubled. So, right, wonderful opportunities in addition to being of service. I mean, that's the most important motivation that we really notice among our students. However, there's been an exodus of folks from the field, I think, because of COVID and because of the tremendous stress of the job. And we're noticing a slight downtick in the number of students who are interested in nursing for this enrollment, this recruitment cycle. And other colleges are reporting the same thing. So I'm wondering, is just with all the health concern in the country, if people are hitting the pause button, potential students, and saying, well, wait a minute, maybe before I commit to a nursing major, I'm going to think about it for a little bit. Eric Sykes and his team are doubling down on that. We're using digital advertising to make sure that we've turned over every stone in terms of potential nursing students, but it's an interesting phenomenon. So I had a conversation with the CEO of Arnott Health, the local hospital. They will hire pretty much any graduate from our institution. They are desperate for nurses, and we're talking about maybe a relationship where we can do that, where the student benefits and Arnott Health benefits as well. So.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank President Lindsay, for your time tonight and, addressing the questions and giving us all an update on this. And thank you, everybody who has attended. Appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing familiar faces that I see now at future events, whether they be virtual events or if you're able to return to campus. I hope to see a lot of you for reunion this year. We're really excited about that and really hope you can come back. Doesn't have to be your reunion year. We welcome all classes, so we would love to see you.
Yes, there's folks like Haji who come back to every reunion. And I think that's just great. And I got a chance to talk to him briefly at Athletic Alumni Weekend just this past weekend. And so Haji, thanks for coming back.
Yeah, we love to see those familiar faces and new ones too. So please encourage your classmates to attend. So as of right now, I want to just thank you again for attending. We are going to stop recording in just a minute or so, and you'll be unmuted. And you'll be able to visit with each other and just catch up and hopefully make plans to return to campus. Please feel free to contact me at Alumni Relations with any questions or if I can assist you in any way in the future. And I just thank you again for joining us and have a wonderful evening.